Please rise up.
உட்காந்துக்கலாமா?
Big thanks to Decoding. We all need that to be. The general objective of any union budget is to promote a rapid and balanced economic growth of our country and to promote social justice and equality. Therefore, every student should have some understanding of how economy works in general. And it gives me great pleasure as we can proudly say we entered into the third year of budget decoding session in August. This day and this ambience, the old color of surrounding it, the color of this merriment will unfold and will transport us to the another world. A very warm good morning and a hearty welcome to all. We are honored to have Dr. R. Manikandan and we are extremely happy to welcome you, sir. I am Nandini and with my co-hosts Nadia and Sriram. Welcome, parents, students, on behalf of Accra Public School, a very special day. Decoding the Union Budget 2022 to 2023. We are glad about your presence. Henry Ford says, coming together is beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success. It was indeed this mantra of working together has brought us where we are. Collective work of the secret behind this process that Akram has seen. Now, the person who has consumed himself to change the culture, brighten the life of students, the man with a distinct vision and a fountainhead of illuminating ideas, an idle knowledge, and an inspiration to all of us. Yes, it's our very own beloved principal, Mr. M. Jnana Panditan. We request our principal to address the gathering.
Respected Chief Guest of this Decoding the Union Budget 2022, Dr. R. Manikandan, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, Bharatiya University, Coimbatore, faculty members, dear children, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I am in fact very happy that we are able to do the decoding or the review of the union budget for the third consecutive time, barring the 2 years where the school was affected due to COVID. Otherwise, since we started in the year 2019, we have managed to continue this tradition. So this is not just a tradition. If I say some words from now, the next few words might appear like a cliche, but they have profound meaning and profound significance. Decoding a budget or reviewing a budget, getting into the nuances of the budget, trying to read out the crunching numbers behind the budget is no mean task. It requires a great level of expertise. Even financial experts and people who profess to have great interest in this do not do this big attempt, fearing that it has got a lot of complexities and nuances. So in such a scenario, asking the school students, that to class 11 students, to take up the budget and review it and present it to others is definitely no mean task. It requires a great guts and a great amount of hard work that has to go if one has to come front and review the budget. So in that front, I'll always feel proud as a principal of the school and a teacher of economics that we have managed to make our children to do it, to attempt it, irrespective of the outcome. We are waiting to see how they are going to deliver, but irrespective of the outcome, the attempt itself requires a great appreciation. So I have to thank the students of class 11 for taking up this challenge, and I'm sure they will deliver it in a befitting way. And why budget? People might have a question, why budget when so many things are happening in the world? Why do you want to do with budget? You know, we speak about a country's development based on the economic growth. You call your country as a developed country or a poor country or a developing country, advanced country, strong country, weak country, all based on only one factor. And what's that factor? The economic development of a country. Economic development. So economic development is about the production of the country, the consumption of the country, distribution of the country, how the agriculture is performing, how industry is performing, how the service sectors are performing. Only when we know, only when these sectors perform and we have knowledge about it, we can arrive to a conclusion whether a country is developing or developed or underdeveloped. So economic development and the tag of the country, the tag that we associated with the country has got a close relationship. And this budget expected to be one of the stimulant or a trigger or a methodology or a weapon which is in the hands of the policy makers or the rulers of the country to accelerate the economic development. Every year this happens, this exercise happens every year. How the economic progress is going to happen in this country will be decided based on the way the finance minister prepares a budget for the year. So now we are trying to decode it, because when the finance minister presents, she doesn't just simply present. They work for months together. Day and night they work together. And all IAS officers, technocrats, people who are experts in cost analysis, people who are experts in accounts and auditing, people who are experts in economic theories, people who are expert in administration, they all sit together day and night. They prepare volumes and volumes of data. They have to plan for the whole country. Imagine planning for a small house in your own family, based on the income of the family. If you have to plan how much effort is required for a whole country with 1.4 billion population. That is a humongous exercise, a big exercise. And that they prepare it and they deliver it on the D-Day, which is always the first week of February of a year. Followed by that, there will be a discussion in the parliament. The government of the day has to justify why they earmark so much money for the budget and what are they trying to achieve. All that has to be justified. The opposition has to ratify. The whole parliament has to ratify before it becomes a financial bill or before it gets implemented in the country. So all this exercise, and once this is done, everywhere, industrial organizations, associations, economists, academicians, people all, once the union budget is presented, from that moment, for the next 1 month or so, everybody will analyze the budget threadbare, seeing that what is that this year the government has done for us. People in the agriculture, they will be interested to know what is it we have got special this year. People in industry would like to know what is it we have got for us. Because everybody who's into business, who's participating in the economy, they all will be interested to know what is that they've got in the budget. All of us are affected by budget. It's not like budget is to be left to the experts to decide what is happening. Each and every citizen of the country is affected by the union budget of the country. So all of us need to know how this works and how it goes on. So keeping that in mind, and our commerce stream students who are future leaders in business, future leaders, future entrepreneurs, so they should have a tab over it, they should have a knowledge over it. That's the idea behind organizing this symposium on union budget. So by getting through all this, by knowing at least the key terminologies, the jargons which are used in budget. Now they are empowered. Next year there is a budget presented. They will not just simply go. They just have a look at it at least to see, okay, what is this saying? What are the new changes that has happened? And we are happy and we feel proud and we feel really fortunate we are able to do it to our class 11 children who are just getting into the world of economics and business. Just now they are learning what is economics, what is budget and all that. In fact, if I have turned back in my life, until I finished my post-graduation, I never knew anything about budget. Only I have studied in syllabus. I never knew how the budget has got an impact in day-to-day life. So in that front, I feel really fortunate we were able to bring it to our children at this level. So to make this day a grand one, or to add up, to complement all our efforts, we have invited Dr. R. Manikandan, Assistant Professor of Department of Economics, Bharatiya University. And why Dr. R. Manikandan? One is, he's from Bharatiya University, the authority of all the colleges in and around Coimbatore, Tirupur, Erode, Pollachi, Nilgiris. Because it is from Bharatiya University, the syllabus goes, it is from Bharatiya University, the approval goes. So he is from such a heavyweight academic background. Plus, he is from the Department of Economics. So budget, more than anybody else, if one understands much better and one who can get into the nuances of it, it is the economician. And Sir is from the Department of Economics. Beyond that, he is an expert in reviewing and analyzing the budget. So we have got the right person for the right moment. And in fact, we got him through my professor of Bharatiya University. When I was studying there, he was my professor and head. And when I approached him, like we are doing a review, he was so happy to hear, in schools you do it, and he said, I will send somebody, I can request somebody from the university to come all the way. So coming all the way from Bharatiya University, Dr. Manikandan, the chief guest of this morning. Sir, we are so happy to have you and we welcome you on behalf of the entire Agram family. It is customary for the principal to introduce the chief guest. Whatever I told you, it's all on the surface level. I've got a big booklet about our chief guest. The exposure that he has got, the number of research papers he has submitted in national and international conferences, the projects that he has done. Okay, so maybe a few of them you may not understand. So pardon me, sir, if I leave out a few details, because for their level, the kind of work you have done may not reach. So I will choose a few things to read out to you to know about the background of our chief guest. Sir has done his undergraduate in economics from MSS Board College, Madurai, and he did his MA economics from Bharatidasan University, Trichy, did his MPhil in economics from Bharatidasan University, Trichy, did his PhD in economics from Bharatiya University, Coimbatore, and he has cleared his state level eligibility test for professors, for those who want to get into colleges and universities conducted by Bharatiya University. Before joining Bharatiya University, he has been working as assistant professor in various private institutions. One is as a assistant professor in Department of Economics, Bishop Ambrose College, Coimbatore. Then assistant professor and head of the department, Acharya Arts and Science College, Puducherry. Assistant professor right now with Bharatiya University, Coimbatore. He has done a research on industrial pollution control, a case study of paper and pulp industry in Tamil Nadu in the year 2005. Carried out research in industrial pollution control, a case study of paper and pulp industry in Tamil Nadu as part of his MPhil dissertation. He has delivered numerous lectures to various institutions. One notable is delivered guest lecture on budget analysis 2019 at SNMB College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. Journals, he writes research journals. which he has on title like Willingness to Pay for Improved Rural Water Supply, a case study of Coimbatore district, Tamil Nadu. Impact of industrial pollution, again a case study from Moolimangalam village in Karur. Determinants of consumption of water in rural area, these are all some of his research works. And he has edited books with ISBN, he has co-authored along with Dr. Bhupati on the topic Status of Water Supply and Sanitation in Rural Areas of Coimbatore. Consumption of domestic water, a case experience from rural Coimbatore district. And participated in international conferences on the paper and presented paper. Presented paper is you do a research, find out your study and present the paper for the participants. An economic and environment impact of LPG on leather tanner industry in India. A two-day international conference on liberalization, privatization and globalization. 3 decades of experience in India organized by Department of Economics, Gandhigram Rural Institute, Gandhigram in the year 2020. Presented a paper in the international conference on the topic Tariff Estimation for Sustainability in Rural Water Supply, case evidence from rural households in Coimbatore districts. Presented a paper on economic analysis on production and marketing of mango cultivation in Theni districts of Tamil Nadu. Presented a paper in the international conference on impact of paper industrial pollution. Took part in Silver Jubilee International Conference on Development, Success and Challenges Achieving Economic, Social and Sustainable Progress. The list goes on and on. It has got around 4 pages of international research papers and seminars that he has presented. We cannot have a fitting chief guest than this. On behalf of you, I once again extend a warm welcome to the chief guest of this morning, Dr. R. Manikandan, Assistant Professor, Department of Economics, Bharatiya University, on behalf of you all. Welcome you, sir. And I welcome all the learned faculty members who are present here to encourage the children. And I welcome the coordinator of this event, Sumita, who has been working with the children for the last week or so in preparing them. I welcome all dear children from class 9, 10 and 11 who have come here to witness this. And of course, I welcome the participants of the day, the heroes and the heroines of this day. The students of class 11 Commerce Stream, who has dared to take up this daunting task of reviewing the budget. I welcome each and every one of you with so much of pleasure and happiness. Let's not waste much of time. We'll get into the presentation. Once again, I welcome each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your motivational and inspiring speech. Now, our principal will facilitate the chief guest with a shawl and a memento.
Sir, sir, continue.
Along. It is now my pleasure to introduce the first set of presenters of the day.
I would like to call upon Vishal and Kavin to give an overview of the budget for the year 2022-23.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm Vishal.
And I'm coming forward.
Today, we are here to present a PPT on the topic Budget at a Glance of the year 2022 to 20. So, first of all, what is a budget? Budget is all about playing with the numbers, but it is always very complex ones. So, we are here and we have dissected and disseminated the budget of the year 2022 to 20. And we tried our level to make it easier and understandable for you guys. And so, now let's get started.
In our presentation, we are going to see about revenue reserve, capital reserve, revenue expenditure, capital expenditure, ministry-wise allocation of budget, and finally allocation of budget to the majors. First, let's see about revenue reserve. Income which is received by the government from tax and non-tax revenue is called as revenue reserve. Examples for tax revenue are income tax, wealth tax, capital gains tax, corporate tax, and so on. And examples for non-tax revenue are interest received by the government, yields and grants, fees and penalties, and so on. In 2021 budget, the government received 20,78,936 crores, and in this year budget, the government is going to receive 22,04,422 crores. This year, the government has made a record of collecting 1.40 lakh crores from GST. Tax and non-tax collection depends upon the economic activity in the country. After the pandemic period in 2020 and the first half of the 2021, the government is recovering faster than they thought. In 2020, the revenue result of the government was 16 lakh crores. And in 2022, the government 6 lakh crores has been increased in the estimate of the revenue. This shows the fast recovery of the government.
Next, we have the capital risk. These are the income received by the government from borrowings, disinvestment, privatization, and also small savings. The budget estimated for the current year is about 17,40,487 crores, and the revised estimate of the previous year is about 16,91,064 crores. The budget 2022 to 23 has further increased capital reserve by 4.8% compared to the previous year's revised estimate. And also, borrowings and disinvestment are the major source for the government earnings. And next, we have the gross tax revenue. These are the total taxes collected from both direct and indirect tax. It has been increased over 9% compared to the previous year's revenue estimate.
Now let's see about the revenue expenditure. Expenses which are made by the government to continue the existing institutions and programs of the government is called as revenue expenditure. In 2021, the Finance Ministry has allocated 31,67,289 crores, and this year budget the government has allocated 31,94,663 crores. The main revenue expenditure for the government is in salary, pension, defense, and subsidies. The major three subsidies are food, petroleum, and coal prices. The government has reduced the amount allocated to these three subsidies to reduce the revenue expenditure of the government. The government increased only a slight amount for salary, defense, and pension. So there is only a slight difference between the budget compared to the last year.
And next, we have the capital expenditure. These are the expenses made on developmental activities or the expenses made on improving the social infrastructure. The budget estimated for the current year is about 10,67,889 crores, and the revised estimate for the previous year is about 8,40,396 crores. The budget 2022 to 23 has further increased capital reserve by 4.6% compared to the previous year's revised estimate. And also, our Indian Finance Ministry has raised the bet on capital expenditure to pump the investment cycle and also spur India's economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. And also, the increase in capital expenditure is mainly due to the substantial increase in the loans and advances given to the state government.
Now let's see about the ministry-wise allocation of budget. First, we have the Ministry of Community. The government has allocated 1,05,406 crores for this aspect. As the Finance Minister said, 5G services are going to be rolled out within 2022-20. This budget will be very conclusive for this aspect. Now let's see about the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. The government has allocated 1,07,715 crores for this aspect. This year budget of fertilizers is less than the budget compared to 2020. This shows a very bad sign and will give a very big disappointment for the farmers. The number of fertilizers allocated by the central government to state government state government to the farmers to the village. The government reduced the fertilizer subsidy to reduce the revenue expenditure of the government. Now let's see about the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. The government has allocated 1,35,530 crores for this aspect. Compared to last year's budget, that is a 5% increase in the amount allocated for agriculture. This will be a welcoming sign for the farmers.
Next, we have the Ministry of Rural Development. The amount allocated towards the rural development areas is about 2,06,293 crores, and the Ministry of Rural Development has been allocated to rupees 1,38,203 crores. It is because our central government is going to introduce new schemes for the rural development areas and to provide digital and high-tech services for the farmers and also drones for the crop processing. And next, we have the Ministry of Friendlies. As we all know that India is the fourth largest railway network all around the world, but still our central government wants to upgrade. So they have allocated rupees 1,40,367 crores. And also they introduced a new scheme, that is one station, one product. It is to popularize the local businesses and goods and services as well as the supply chains using Indian railway network. And next we have the Ministry of Home Affairs. It has been allocated with rupees 1,85,776 crores. And this because there are going to be new feature introduced by central government, that is modernization of central armed police forces, and that scheme has been allocated with rupees 248 crores.
Now let's see about the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. The government has allocated 1,99,107 crores for this aspect. Nearly 1 lakh crores has been increased in the last year budget allocation. This year many roads and highways are going to be built. This will be a good sign for the people living in rural areas. This year the Finance Minister assured that 25,000 kilometers of roads are going to be built.
Next, we have the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. It is to ensure food security through procurement, storing, and distributing the food grains to the public. And after the Ministry of Defense, most of the budget has been allocated to Ministry of Consumer Affairs. That is about 2,70,684 crores.
Now at last we have the Ministry of Defense, the most important ministry of the government. Nearly 50,000 crores has been increased from the last year budget allocation. Defense expenditure is growing faster than the other expenditures, especially because of the growing uncertainty in the world. Now let's see about the allocation of budget to the major schemes.
The first scheme is about National Health Mission. It is to provide quality healthcare services that are affordable and responsive to the public needs. The budget estimated for the current year is about 37,800 crores, and the revised estimate for the previous year is 34,947 crores. It has been increased over 8% compared to the previous year's revised estimate.
Now let's see about the PM Kisan Mission, nothing but Pradhan Mantri Kisan Mission. According to the scheme, 6,000 rupees will be given to the farmers as minimum income support in 3 installments. In 2021 budget, the government allocated 67,500 crores, and in this year budget, the government has allocated 16,000 crores. Farmers and farming are the backbone of the country. The government should take care of it. This Pradhan Mantri Kisan scheme will be very beneficial for the small farmers for their livelihood.
Next, we have the National Education Mission. It is an overreaching program for extending the education sector from preschool to class 12. The budget estimated for the current year is 39,553 crores, and the revised estimate for the previous year is 30,796 crores. It has been increased over 11.86% compared to the previous year's revised estimate. And also there are going to be new schemes implemented by the central government, and some of the schemes are as follows. The first scheme is about Sakshat Bharat, and second we have the Sarva Shiksha scheme, and also there is a scheme for centrally sponsored scheme on teachers education, and also there is a new announcement for the college students that our central government is going to set up a new digital university to provide world-class quality education with ISTP standards.
Now at last, we have the Atmanirbhar Bharat Roadster Yojana. According to the scheme, employees who is getting salary less than 15,000 and not working in an employees provident fund organization will be provided employment by the government. In 2021, the Finance Ministry has allocated 5,000 crores, and in this year budget, the government has allocated 6,400 crores. In 1,400 crores has been increased from the last year budget allocation. This year, the government wants to decrease the people living in the below poverty line. And thank you.
Presented a total amount of the budget. Have been given the percentage of it because total amount is vary from the percentage. Yeah, because how to calculate the percentage? Total amount allocated for the each sector divided by total amount of the budget. Okay. So when you give the because the total amount is maybe increased. You have given the every sector allocated amount has been increased, but percentage may be decreased or this is my suggestion. And what are the social infrastructure or social infrastructure? What are the schemes or social infrastructure schemes? Any new schemes announced in this budget? Any new schemes for rural development?
Not schemes that they have given new features like giving more digital and high tech services. It will increase the economic growth of the rural development.
How much amount allocated for rural development and what are the schemes have been introduced in this budget? Because in last year budget, no other scheme was announced by the government. Okay. So we have to compare whether that scheme are implemented or not. Okay. How much growth in this budget? We have to compare. Because for rural development, water supply and sanitation is a major problem in rural areas. Okay, sanitation. As per government report says that 96% of the households have toilet facilities, consent to the toilet facilities. But in ground reality, only 60% of the households only consent to the toilet facilities. 65% of the people they are going for open air defecation. Going to survey in the rural areas. Okay, there is some contradiction between the government report and the ground reality. Okay, so whether because every year the government announced a lot of schemes for sanitation facilities, sanitation and water supply. Okay, so we have to compare with the previous report and current report. And you mentioned the food security. Food security. So food security is a major economic and environmental problem in India, faced by India. So because India is the most populous country. Okay, so we need more food grains. Okay, the demand for food grains have been increased over the last 10 to 20 years. Okay, how we will achieve for fulfillment of the food security?
By encouraging the farmers for their agricultural cultivation.
Why I am saying that Food and Agricultural Organization report says that India will need 600 million food grains by the year 2025. Is it possible to cultivate this much of food grains? Is it possible? No, why it is not possible to cultivate 600 million tons of food grains?
So the resources are scarce.
Because all the agricultural lands are depends on the water sector. Okay. So what are all the traditional sources have been converted in the flats and some other buildings. So it is not possible to cultivate the more, because you know in one of the economic theory, Malthus theory, population theory. Okay. So population increase the multiple ratio, but food grains increase the plus, the into plus ன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, 2 plus 2 plus 2. Okay. So in like India, the population you know very well, according to 2011 21 census, so around 140 crores of population. At the same time, the cultivation land have been decreased over the past 10 years. It is not possible to cultivate this tons of food grains in India because of lack of irrigation facilities. So we have to compare like that.
In the budget 2022-23, the stage is your guide.
Good morning all. I'm Sabratan. We are here to decode the budget of the year 2022-23 in contrast to taxation. First we will see what is tax. Tax is a mandatory fee imposed by any government on an individual or organization. It is levied to collect revenue to provide good public facilities and infrastructure. This is the revenue of the government of the year 2022. Borrowing and other liabilities is about 35% and non-capital reserve is 2%, which means the reserve leads to decrease in asset and not an increase in liabilities. It's like disinvestment. And non-tax revenue is 5%, and that is like audit fees and fines and etc. And GST is 16%, and union excise duty is 7%. That is the tax imposed on the Indian products, and customs is 5%, that is the import and export charges. And income tax 15%, corporate tax is also 15%. According to last year, 1% of borrowings and liabilities is reduced. Next, we'll see about tax. There are two types of tax: indirect tax and direct tax. First, we'll see about direct tax. Direct tax is imposed by the government on individuals, companies, income and wealth. Nearly more than 50% of income is coming from direct tax only. Then we have wealth tax, corporate tax, income tax and capital gain tax. First we see about wealth tax. Wealth tax pay for property what value. This is budget they not say about wealth tax. And next we'll see about corporate tax. Corporate companies have to pay their profit, and this year budget they have reduced to 15%. And next we'll see about indirect tax. Direct tax also imposed by the government on goods and services. Then we have only GST, the goods and service tax on goods and service sold for domestic purpose only. Our central government made a record on GST, that is they have collected nearly on January 2022 collected nearly 1.4 lakh crores as a revenue. February 2022 they have collected nearly 1.3 lakh crores as a revenue. Here comes the income tax slab of the year 2022-23. There are two types of slabs, that is, if we are claiming deduction and exemption, like school fees, insurance premium and some donation. And the second slab is if you are not claiming any deduction and exemption. First we will see about if we are claiming deduction and exemption. Claiming all deductions and exemption, if your income is below 2.5 lakhs, you are not needed to pay tax. And if it is from 2,50,000 to 3 lakhs, you, age category below 60 years must pay 5% tax. If the income is between 3 lakh to 5 lakh, the age category below 80 years must pay 5% tax. And it is between 5 lakh and 10 lakh, all must pay 20% tax. And it is above 10 lakh, all must pay 30% tax. We will see about the second slab. If your income is below 2.5 lakhs, you need not pay tax. And if it is between 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs, you pay 5%. And if it is between 5 lakhs and 7.5 lakhs, you must pay 10%. And if it is between 7.5 lakhs and 10 lakhs, you must pay 15%. And if it is between 10 lakh and 12.5 lakhs, you must pay 20%. And if it is between 12.5 lakhs to 15 lakhs, you must pay 25%. And if it is above 15 lakhs, you must pay 30%. You all may ask, what is that 87A? It means if your income is below 5 lakh, you can claim 100% of your tax or 12,500, which is lesser, you can claim it. Here comes the increase and decrease in the tax. Corporate service tax is decreased from 12% to 7%, and umbrella tax is increased to 20%, and diamond tax is reduced to 5%, and drone tax is increased, and cryptocurrency tax is charged at 30%.
First, we'll see about heads. Reduction in corporate tax will help to revamp the business enterprise from the post-pandemic. Another good news is payment received from employees, any source for COVID treatment has been made as non-taxable. The good news for jewelry industries, that is, they have cut imports duty on diamonds and gemstones to 5% from 7.5%.
Here comes the misses. The government did not make any change in the income tax slab because of that, the middle class people who earn between 2 lakhs and 2.5 lakhs to 3 lakhs is highly disadvantaged. Because due to this pandemic, they were not receiving their salary properly, so they were expecting to increase the income tax level. And next comes the cryptocurrency tax. That's a bad news for cryptocurrency investors. That is, the cryptocurrencies will be taxed at the rate of 30%, and also 1% TDS, that is tax deduction at home. And also solar panel tax and cloth tax is not being reduced.
The government budget usually two parts distributed by the minister. Part A deals with the economic survey and part B deals with the taxation proposals. So we have presented the tax proposals. So you have given a lot of data, but you have to compare monthly. What is corporate surplus tax? What is corporate surplus tax? They levied 30%. They reduced the corporate tax. Okay. Then you have mentioned the cryptocurrency. What is cryptocurrency?
So it is a digital virtual assets. Not any
Yeah. So digital government increased the digital transaction to the public. Okay. There is some positive and negative side due to introduce the digital currency, because RBI only main authority to issuing the currency. So when you introduce the digital currency, so you are making the digital currency. Okay, you have to increase the asset of your loan. Okay, so what is the positive and negative side of digital currency?
without any effort, the asset value will be increased.
What is positive side? Because this government encouraged the digital currency. There is some positive and negative side. What is positive side and negative side?
Positive side is there will be no like all digital. Not to disadvantage, without any effort, the value can be increased.
Is there any reduction of income tax? Those who are earning income, government salary people, is there any reduction in this budget?
No, sir.
What is the percentage of tax for people earning? You have given the data, so I am asking what is the percentage of you have mentioned the classified 2.5 lakh to 5 lakh, above 5 lakh to 10 lakh rupees. How much you have to pay the tax? What's the tax rate of slab rate? What is it?
5 lakhs. What is the tax rate for the income base of 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs?
5%.
5% for
From 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs. it is 10% itself.
10%. Go to slide. Retail. Now mentioned 20%. 10%. Is there any reduction for subsidy for women employees?
I like how these two made sure they put up all the ticks and misses in this area and how precise they deliver the presentation. Hope that would have given some clarity to all those who are curious about the income tax situation.
Business is something which India is doing very well in recent times. And with so many schemes to support, the upcoming small businesses are welcome. We have seen the amount of small businesses emerging in and around the country during the pandemic. But ever lately, I have got to the matters of our homes. I am glad that these two are here to decode it for us. Let me call upon Siddharth and Suchika to the stage.
A big business starts small. Good morning all, I am Suchiva.
And I'm Siddharth.
We are here to review the budget on the MSMEs. What are MSMEs? MSME, micro small medium enterprise. MSME involves in producing and preserving the goods. MSME Act of 2006 led to the creation of organized departments for MSME. MSME are also referred as the backbone of developing countries. You all know why they are referred as backbone of developing countries? It's because they not only generate employment opportunities, they also work hand in hand towards the nation's development of backward and rural areas. Next, coming to the investment. Three enterprises also have different investments. The micro enterprise invests less than 25 lakhs, and the small enterprise invests 25 lakhs to 5 crores, and the medium enterprise invests 5 crores to 10 crores. How do MSME differ from large scale industries? MSME invests a low amount, that is, the investment will be very low, that is around 10 crores. And large scale industry have a huge investment that is above 10 crores. The MSMEs are labor intensive, but if you take large scale industry, they use a huge machines and upgrade technology for the production. The profit. In MSME, the profit will be shared by both employees and the owners. But in large scale industry, as they don't employ more employees, the profit will be taken away by the owners.
And now coming to the budget allocation for the financial year 2022-23. For this year, the government has allotted 21,422 crores. Wow, that's a huge sum. But I really wonder, why has the government allotted so much money for them? Are they really worthy? And the answer is yes. It's because, as my partner already said, these MSMEs are labor intensive. They use much of labors instead of depending on the machines and the power. So they generate a lot of employment opportunities, thus reducing the unemployment rate. And 12,382 crores are allotted for the textile sector, 904.07 crores are allotted for the development of Kali villages and the toy industries. So on the finance minister promised that she will increase allocation by 800 crores for the next financial year, which is really welcome. And you can see the government has allotted 904 crores for the villages and the toy industries, which are the traditional industries. Through this allocation, we can understand that the government is also trying to focus on the traditional sectors. And there is an increase in allotment for the NATS, which is the National Apprenticeship Training Program. When the laborers are trained properly to produce the food, they will be able to specialize in it. So when they specialize in producing the food, they will be able to save cost as well as time. So it really benefits the MSMEs. And then we know allocation will have a definite purpose, and the purpose of this allocation is to bring back pre-pandemic level of business. So what does this term pre-pandemic level of business mean? It is nothing but the level of business the MSMEs had before the pandemic. And before the pandemic, these MSMEs did not have any problem with the supply of laborers and in getting the raw materials, and they could have produced to the market. But as a lot of restrictions were imposed, as a lot of restrictions were imposed due to the pandemic, the functioning of the MSMEs were affected. So they led to a lot of losses. And to be simple, the major focus of this allocation is on all these issues.
How do you all define whether it is good or bad? By comparing it right, now we are going to compare the allocation of financial year 22 and 23. Financial year 2021, the allocation was around 7,972 crores. Financial year 2022, it was 15,699 crores. For the upcoming year, that is financial year 2023, the government have allotted 21,422 crores. Let's look at this line. There is an increase in the allotment rate, and this year they have increased it around 26.71%. Emergency credit line guarantee scheme amount was increased from 50,000 crores to 5 lakh crores. This is a huge amount, and this scheme is all about providing a collateral-free loan. This helps the MSME sector to get the loan as much as easier, so that they will give an effective production. Exemption of custom duty for steel production for last year will be extended for financial year 2023. This is all the last year as due to the COVID pandemic, the steel production was affected, so that the government have decided not to collect the custom duty for financial year 2023. And you all know that steel is the basic need for all the sectors. Incentives for startups. Our country has seen a successful increase in the startups. This year they have introduced the concession and the concession tax were provided. And next is CFCSS, that is Credit Linked Capital Subsidy Scheme. This helps the MSME in research and development. This also helps in upgrading their technology. And you can apply the scheme through PLI, that is Primary Lending Institution.
And we know during the pandemic, each and every sector they built their own business. And what do you think is the reason? It is because that to have their work uninterrupted during the pandemic, all those people they sat at their home, they were unable to function properly. So to have your work uninterrupted, each and every sector built their own digital support. And you can see we have online classes to have uninterrupted education. We have online shopping methods. And we also have gaming facilities online. Instead of going to the ground, you can sit at your home and play using your mobiles. And now it is a great opportunity for the government to develop itself digitally. So as an initial step, the government has provided several assistance to a lot of schemes like Udayam scheme, DSHAM, NCS and ASEE. And what is this Udayam scheme? It is nothing but a portal in which the MSMEs can directly register themselves to the government. Before the introduction of this scheme, the MSMEs they need to approach the register officers, they need to spend a lot of time, they have transportation charges. Now as they can register through e-portals, it will be cost effective as well as they don't need to spend a lot of time. And the Keystone scheme, it is nothing but a database. It contains information about the workers who are working in the unorganized sector. During the pandemic, we know the government did not have sufficient information about the migrated people. So all those steps that the government took to reach these people, to support them went in vain. And now when they have the information about these workers, it will be easier for them to face further crises. And the NCS and the ASEE. So it is nothing but a portal in which both the job seekers and job providers they will register with themselves. So when there is a need for laborers, they can easily map them, and even the who are seeking for jobs, they can know where the job is available. And something special about this allocation is they are going to interlink all those three portals so that the farmers could easily be coordinated. You know, it is impossible for any government to form a budget which will satisfy each and every individual. And this budget could turn up disappointing for few groups. Now, let us take a look at it one by one. First, there is no reduction in the price of raw materials. Raw materials are major factors of production. They are processed to become final goods. When the cost of the raw materials are high, it will result in increase in price of the final good. So, when the price of final good increases, the consumption of the good will also increase. This is the reason that the MSMEs in Bangalore they have recently shut down their works, demanding the reduction price of the raw materials. And then there is no increase in the loan notes and no reduction in the interest rates. Interest rates were charged high for everyone. And during the pandemic, these MSMEs they did not function properly, so they did not have sufficient profit to repay the loans. And
So this means that they did not have any income, but they have to pay the loans. There is only a one-way path. Only the money is going outside, but there is no income for it. It stays in for it. And the rising tax for clothes and umbrellas. We know these clothes and umbrellas, they are usually manufactured by the MSME. When the price of these clothes and umbrellas rises, obviously, I have a question to you about that. You think the price of goods are increasing and the tax for those goods are increasing. Do you think the MSME owners will put up the money from their own pocket to compensate with all those taxes? Definitely not, right? They will try to catch up with the price of the final goods. So when they try to increase the price of the final goods, those who are trying to consume it will stop its consumption or reduce its consumption as the prices are high. As a result, when the sales of the product is low, there is a reduction in demand. We know when the product is not in demand, the MSMEs are not going to manufacture. And finally, there is no financial assistance provided by the government to the micro units. These micro units, as already said, they function with less financial resources. They have investments less than 2.5 lakh, 2.25 lakhs. So when the government fails to support these micro units through some aid, their functioning will be difficult. When there is a poor functioning, they will not be able to get any profit. So it means that there is a crisis in the functioning of the business.
And finally, the most of the small scale industries you see around your locality belongs to MSME. Let's start supporting our economy from the soul. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we are presenting bill. As we said earlier, go to previous slide. Allocated amount for move for MSME. That's it. As you said earlier, so you have mentioned the allotted amount was increased by 26%. Okay. So you calculated from financial year 2001 to 2022 budget. Okay. Am I right? You calculate. So 26%. No, no. You mentioned the allotment was increased by 26.71%. How you calculate that?
That is from the allocation from financial year
50,600 crores to 21. But this analysis, as far as my concern, you have to analyze what is the total amount of 2021 budget. Total amount, entire budget. Do you know? No. So you have to calculate the total amount and the 50,699 crores. What is the percentage of that financial year allocated for MSME? And you can calculate separately from 2022 and 23. Okay. So it may be varied. Okay. The total amount may be, for example, financial 2022-23, the total amount definitely increase when compared to the financial previous year. Okay, the percentage may definitely vary. Okay, you have analyzed that kind of this aspect also. Okay, then so you know very well last 2 years due to pandemic COVID-19 situation, one report says that in Tamil Nadu more than 30,000 small and medium scale industries have been closed. So you know very well. Okay, so a lot of business people and small scale business people, they are they are not giving salary to their employee, and a lot of unemployment was there during the last 2 years. So what are the schemes for to rectify this problem, overcome this problem? Any schemes for introduced because a few months back our finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced the stimulus amount, 1 lakh crore rupees. They are providing loan to recovery the small and medium scale industry. Okay. So is there any scheme for this budget? Because last 2 years will be for MSME. So in this budget, is there any for schemes or amount allocated for recovering this problem?
For those MSMEs, they have a lot of issues that they have a lot of and especially to support these MSMEs, they are doing a lot of those collaborative. We have the emergency credit guarantee scheme. So to this day, the MSMEs can apply to the banks for getting collateral loans. They don't need to pay any documents, security for.
Why I am asking this question? Because recently we watched the television and newspaper. Most of the MSME associations seem that it's very difficult to get loan from the bank. But government announced a lot of schemes. But still they are suffering a lot for getting the loan from the bank. So we have to analyze very good discussion.
Just hold on. I believe there are somebody from the audience who wanted to ask question. So we will limit to 2 questions only. So first, if at all you have any question, 2 questions from the audience. We cannot go on and on. So 2 questions can be permitted. Who has got a question? No time. Okay, if we don't have any question for now, then we'll see. Wait for the next question. Thank you.
Here with the environment more suitable and supportive than ever. And it is good to know also the other side too. Thank you Siddharth and Sujika for the amazing presentation.
After that amazing show put up by both of them, we have another set of students to present on one of the key aspects of the budget, infrastructure. So I hereby call Sanjay and Kaushik to do the talking on how is infrastructure emphasized in the budget 2022 to 23.
Good morning to all. First of all, I will begin with a question. Can you imagine a world without electricity, water, or any other facilities like hospitals, schools, education? No one can imagine such a situation. Life will be terrific without these facilities. And I call all these facilities as infrastructure. And infrastructure is a supporting service for the production of goods and service. And I also call it as foundation of development. Infrastructure helps in decreasing unemployment because many people get employed in infra projects like construction of building, maintenance of road, etc. And this will help to reduce the unemployment. And why has the allotment increased? We already know that due to pandemic, our Indian economy has gone down. To reboot the economy, they have increased the capex by 34.5%. That is 7.5 lakh crores. And this is the highest outlay. And there is one more reason to increase this capex, that is to reduce logistic costs. Logistics are nothing but all services like transportation, warehouse, inventory, which are required to move the goods from the production to the consumers are called logistics. In India, logistic cost is very high. It's up to 13 to 14% when we compare it to developed countries like US and China. To reduce the logistic cost, the government has planned to reduce it by Gati Shakti scheme.
Do you know what is Gati Shakti? Gati Shakti is oh, Shakti is power. Let's see how Gati Shakti reduces the cost and infrastructure projects. First of all, we will see what is Gati Shakti scheme. It's a scheme, the national master plan to reduce the cost and execution of planning and execution of infrastructure projects to reduce the logistic cost. It helps to lay the foundation of big private investment. So it is better to create 60 lakh jobs. It's a good news for farmers. It's a good news for poor who is still unemployed and who can get job. Next, this program seeks to raise productivity and accelerate economic growth and develop infrastructure with the help of PM Gati Shakti scheme acting as a further individuals. 400 new generations Vande Bharat will be introduced to Kerala and improves for passenger rail experience will be improved and manufactured for next 3 years. Cable transport. The length of cable transport will be expanded by 50 kilometers under forward masking. Forward masking is nothing but especially for hilly region to travel, people to travel and encourage tourism.
As I already mentioned, our Indian government is planning to reduce the logistic cost. They are expanding our national highways by 25,000 kilometers. And a total of 2,000 kilometers of rail network will be brought under Kawat scheme. Kawat is nothing but anti-collision device network. It will help to prevent rail accidents. And next is allocation. A 1,99,107 crore has been allocated for the expansion of highways. And a 19,500 crore has been allotted for PLA scheme for solar panel production. And in the recent run of COP26, the US and India have collaborated towards installing 450,000 megawatts of energy by 2030. And 60,000 crores were allotted for pipe water missions. In India, over 120 million households lack access to clean water. To improve that, they have increased 10,000 crores when compared to last year's budget.
Next is agriculture infrastructure. They have allotted 500 crores. Compared to last year, they increased 300 crores. It's a good share. Next, it is a national health mission. They have allotted 37,000 crores. Compared to last year, they increased 1%. So 20%. This will good. Under this mission, they improve the telecom from housing and care service. By now, in India, 23 care services will be available.
And next is PLA. As I already mentioned, a 19,500 crore has been allotted under the PLA for solar panel production. PLA is nothing but production linked incentive. The name itself gives you a clue, like production incentive. When a company produces more, the incentives will be also more. More production, more incentives. So like it provides incentives to the companies in relation to the sale of manufactured product. And first of all, it was initially introduced as national policy on electronics by IT Ministry to give incentives up to 4 to 6%. And it was launched in April 2020. And it was introduced along with Atmanirbhar Bharat campaign. It's nothing but self-reliant India. Its aim is to invite foreign industries to set up their plants and develop the local manufacturers. And in this year budget, they have allotted 1.97 lakh crores and they have included 30 more sectors in this. And some of them are textile, steel, telecom, food, etc. Thank you.
As you mentioned, National Health Mission. Okay. What are the health schemes that have been introduced in this budget?
Previous national day.
You mentioned that 37,000 crores have been allotted for National Health Mission.
Under this mission, they will introduce medical services for housing and care services.
So this is under the health mission. National Health Mission. Then you mentioned agricultural infrastructure fund, 500 crores rupees allotted in this budget. Okay. What is agricultural infrastructure?
Agriculture infrastructure means like markets, when goods need to transport to the market, we need facilities like transportation, warehousing, and reserve. That are called agriculture infrastructure.
Already the government of India have announced the e-NAM, electronically national agricultural marketing. So in the last budget. Okay. So in this budget, 500 crore rupees for what? So you mentioned the transportation and the warehouse facilities. So already in last budget also they have allotted more amount for this. Any other schemes allotted for agriculture infrastructure? What about the rural farmers? And also you have mentioned the Gadisakti. Okay, so the main aim of Gadisakti is to encourage the investment, to encourage and to buy our own product in India, to make in India, made in India. Okay, through this Gadisakti program. Okay, do you think really we are marketing our own product globally? Why this system is failure for made in India and making in India? Because we you know very well, most of the people are depending on the foreign goods. So we are purchasing foreign goods. We are not believing to buy our own goods. So do you think I am correct or not? Because when you buy the laptop, when you are going to buy the mobile phone, so do you buy the Indian product? No. So what is the failure of this maintaining? Because this government are engaged to foreign direct investment.
Any questions from the audience? Yeah. Pass this mic.
You said there will be 400 one-way Bharat trains missing, right? How are they different from normal convention trains and where are they getting released? Is in Delhi, they have a high-tech technology and more advanced technology. Like I'm asking, like, what is the difference between, like, how it is beneficial for Indians when traveling there? When we can travel in some low cost with the normal trains. It has high technology and high adequate advanced features. We can, it's like there are 360-degree rotation seats and there are many chargeable points. There is more facilities than this low cost train. And the single advantage is the cost is high.
We know this union budget is actually for the development of the sector in each specified sector. Can we expect such a code from the union budget that even if we not see a major development in all the sectors, at least a single boost from a single to these union codes that is being quoted by the government? One second. It's simple. Now, these union budgets are actually for the development of the sector. Can we expect a single code that is coded from the union budget that can give us a major development through a single thing?
In India, we are not dependent on single sector. We have to focus on every sector.
So are you saying like it is not that good to expect the development in a single head?
Single head?
Thank you.
Right on point, our audience could have got clear idea how the whole plan of improving infrastructure can have a greater impact in our lives. How the government is going.
Okay, we'll have a short break now. 10 minutes break. I think your juice and snacks is waiting. You can go to the restrooms and come back. Exactly in 10 minutes you will reorganize here so that we continue with the remaining presentations. First, girls, get up to your places. Over the line. Don't waste time, we'll have to come back in 10 minutes.
Sir, silence. No, sir.